welcome to Elks101. Another episode of Elks Central, breaking this one down.
Breaking touchdown, Edmonton! Fajardo! Dunbar! Back on top!
Okay, welcome back, Elks101, Monday, November 3rd. Declan, Eddie, Rick. Not breaking anything down. Not looking forward to anything, just hanging out, just chatting. One thing we haven't talked about, though, that I'm excited to get into today is the team nominees for the Elks this year, because I know we had a bit of a disagreement about this one. I want to talk about the league nominees as well in the CFL, then obviously cover the two great games this past weekend in the CFL playoffs. Like BC, 2 passes to get 43 yards at the end of the game, and then a walk-off, I think it was a 43-yarder again by Sean White to win it for the Lions. Huge. Like Calgary was a team that, like, they obviously started the season so hot. They beat up on Winnipeg pretty much every game they played, and just looked like, and beat up on Saskatchewan too. Looked like they were going to be one of the preeminent teams. Fell off the wagon a little bit, got back into the playoffs, and then, like, I don't think many people gave them a real shot against BC going on the road in this West semi. Obviously BC did win, so credit to them. But like Calgary was, I mean, they were seconds away. They were, yeah, absolutely. They did. They were right there.
It's a tale of two halves in both games, eh, Deck?
Yeah.
Like
the
first half of the Winnipeg game, Montreal laid the boots to them.
It was like 24-3 at one point.
It was a game.
Yeah.
In Calgary, full disclosure, I was watching. I didn't tune in totally for the Calgary.
Yeah,
game.
me neither.
It was kind of Jay's season at that point.
Yeah. Full disclosure, like let's be real. It was the game. You know,
tuned in on Game 7 of the World Series, but Calgary, they really battled back. I thought they were going to be done for at half.
Yep, 100%. Before we get into all that good stuff, what did you guys do for Halloween? What does Halloween look like for you guys? Like, you're probably out trick or treating with the kids and stuff.
Oh boy, what
were the costumes?
I
this
live
year?
in the South. I was a nurse or a doctor.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
just some blue scrubs. Actually, I look pretty diesel in them. I was telling my wife, boy, if I was a nurse, man, these patients be all over me in real life.
I just imagine like Eddie as a nurse, like putting the IV in and being like, you know what? Can I get someone a little gentler? Actually, is there maybe a 24-year-old woman who can do this?
Put my hands on their arms and cut them up with my calluses. But no, I took the kids out, and I live in the deep South. We had some friends out and some estates out in Sherwood Park. Took the kids out there and met up. They had a bonfire, and we came back with 30 full-size chocolate bars.
No way,
30,
man.
almost too much,
bro.
Like, it was a thing where, like, my wife and I were like, well, when do you walk by and just want to snack on a full chocolate bar?
Yeah.
You'd rather almost have more of the small minis because that's more snackable.
100%.
30 of them.
That's too much, man. Like, as a kid, the perfect amount is like 5 full chocolate bars. Because you're like, man, I hit the jackpot. You're like, this is going to be awesome. But at the same time, like, I don't know how you do it, but growing up, because I grew up in a very like ingredients household, so dude, I would get like a piece of candy in my lunch every day until like November the next year, basically. You know what I mean? Totally. So it was never, you got to have like a little bit on Halloween night. Then it was all in my parents' closet. They'd give like one in lunch. But my thing is, like, if you got like a 1 or like 2 or 3, whatever, full-size chocolate bars, those were the ones you could like pig out on Halloween night on, and it would like feel special. 30's too much, man.
It was.
What do you do? Do you just give the kids, like, you're like, hey, just take it?
No. We're pretty health conscious, man. We're pretty health conscious. So you let the kids do their thing for a little bit, but man, I was a dude who was walking around with 350 pounds at one point in my life. Like, I'm not going back, and I'm not gonna let my kids get there either.
What were their costumes?
My boy was Sonic. And my daughter was Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
Yeah, they were good costumes.
Good. And did
a good job.
Do they go trick-or-treating together, or do they?
Yeah, they
do. Okay.
They're banging house. They're 8 and 6. So they're just running up and down house to house. And like I said, we were out with some friends. So there was a nice group of them, and parents just walked on the street, and it was chill, man. Yeah.
My little brother is 6. And this was the first year I didn't go trick-or-treating with him, because last year he's 6, but his birthday's New Year's Eve. So he's almost 7. It feels like he's 7. And last year, because I'd, taken him trick-or-treating, and when he was like 2 or 3, or do you trick-or-treat at 2? Maybe like 3 or 4. It's like you go up and down the block a little bit, and it's like kind of cool. And you just like, you just chance to hang out with your brother. But like last year I went with him, and he was like out with his friends, like could have cared less that I was there. You know what I mean? And it was just cold.
Friends
like
and loot.
Exactly. Yeah. And like my stepmom was there with like other parents from the neighborhood. And it was just, it was so awkward, man. Like I was just like, he didn't care I was there. These parents kept being
It
like,
was all the parents.
who's this like 20-some-year-old dude just chilling with these kids? And I'd be like, hey, like I'm Arlo's brother. They're like, does Arlo even want you here? So this year I was like, this year I finally sat it out. You know what I mean? What about you, Rick? What was it like for you?
Halloween weekend in the bar, man, is always a step up on regular weekends. Dude. So we had to deal with that, but we sprinkled in a little bit of like Game 6 and Game 7 Blue Jays stuff. Yep. It was 2 long nights, but it's fun. It's over. We move on.
In the bar scene, bars close at 2 still?
Still at 2, yeah, even with that whole hour back thing.
And then what time do you typically get out of there?
So if you were closing it down, I think they're out of there by about 4:30. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I mean, they can get pretty bad sometimes, 5:36, but we run a pretty tight ship. You get cleaned up, you get cashed out. Everybody wants to get out of there. Everyone's had an extra long night. It's a little less talking afterwards and a little more, okay, let's get the hell out of here.
Just working.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, man, like to as like a bar like patron, like having that, you know, that fallback hour, it's got like the best thing in the world. But as someone who works there, man, like I would be.
Well, we don't utilize it though, right? So it goes right to 2:00. And then it goes back to 1, but we're closed.
Oh, you do?
Don't get us, we don't get the extra
Okay.
So actually it's pretty good for staff because you get home, quote unquote,
even earlier,
an hour earlier than normal.
That time then.
Yeah.
Dude, I took no advantage of this extra hour, bro. That night, because we were at a friend's Halloween party and they had cats and I'm like really badly allergic to cats. So I got back and just laid in bed from like, whatever, like 1. So it's like get back at like 1:30 or whatever. Clock hits 2, goes back to 1. I still just lay there until like 4 a.m, just like wheezing, just like sucking on my inhaler. Can't sleep. And then I wake up at like, I don't know what day I woke up on. What time I woke up on the Sunday, like 9:30 or like 10 or something. So I got like not that much sleep. Didn't use the extra hour at all, and just still couldn't breathe.
Isn't there like a pill you can take for that or something?
Yeah, like I took Reactin, and I was like sucking on my inhaler pretty good and heavy. And dude, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like inhalers, but so it's just like, let me actually show it for the camera. I'm sure you guys obviously know what an inhaler looks like just that. But there's also, classic Ventolin, not a big deal. But there's also like the tube that comes with it that they give like 6-year-olds, right?
I have one of those in my medicine cabinet.
Yeah. So I was like taking it with that as well to like get the extra airflow, and I was still just like putting it back.
Does it actually help you out, or is it only there for kids who don't really know how to use the normal
I thought that's what it's for the kids.
It's like mostly for
scared to put their mouth on it.
Yeah, something, right?
It's like mostly for because like it's also like it's like a cold shot of like I don't know, like it's weird to describe. It's just air, but it almost feels like a powder like hitting the back of your mouth. But it is for like kids, but hospitals also use it because you get more Ventolin in your lungs. Okay. Yeah. So it does actually have a purpose. But dude, I've like used it. Like I have another friend who has asthma, and I've like used it in front of him, and he's like, "Man, you're a loser. Like, that's for 4-year-olds. Like, put that away."
Like, dude, I'm just trying to breathe over here.
Yeah, dude. So I do it in secret. Like, just lay in bed, like taking it, hoping no one sees. Dude, also.
Would you wear? I saw you on IG. You look good. Man, couple costumes, huh?
Yeah, two different couple costumes back to back. We went as Jesse and Jane the first night. Little Breaking Bad. It was tough, bro, because it was. Whose
idea? Are you a big dresser upper? Or is that?
I love Halloween, but I'm not. I love Halloween, but I'm not the biggest like costume guy. Like I'll wear like these were both her ideas, but it was tough because the first night we went to like on Halloween on Friday there we went to her friend's party. And it was like, obviously I've like met like the host or whatever and like met a couple, but for the most part, I didn't really know anybody. So if she was like, you know, talking to her friends or whatever, and I was just hanging out, trying to make friends, like just talking to people by myself, people would be like, are you like Eminem? Like, are you? And then my buddy, like her best friend's boyfriend, who was one of the hosts, he was going around telling people I was like Justin Bieber. So I had to do damage control. Come and be like, hey, Matt's telling everyone I'm Justin Bieber. I'm not. But the thing is, and like, if I wasn't with her, no one really got my costume. They were just like, oh, okay, sick hoodie and beanie, man. And then, the second night we were at Tucker Carlson in the green M&M. Because if you're deep into like fucking brain rot internet, you know that Tucker Carlson wants to fuck those M&Ms. So we went as that. But yeah, it was cool. It was dude, here's the other thing. The t-shirts I got for Pinkman, I got one from this like skate shop at the mall. It was like $80, which I was like, this is pretty crazy for like just an oversized t-shirt I'm going to wear once with a terrible design, but whatever. And then she sent me, she was like, yo, go to Zoomies. There's a better t-shirt there. So I went there, spent like another $80 on that t-shirt. Whoa. Went back to the first store and I was like, hey, I got to return this. And they were like, yeah, we don't do that here. Yeah. So I spent like $160 on these 2 t-shirts that I'm never going to wear again. Like, you think I'm going to walk around with a shirt that's like Mickey Mouse twerking or whatever the fuck it was? And another one with a big skull? Like, forget about it. Forget about it, bro.
Jackie rolling in it.
That was my last $160. Please listen to download the podcast, like and subscribe.
Hit us up,
like and subscribe on YouTube. Yeah, but dude, Game 7.
Wow. I love sport.
It's so...
I love the emotional, just roller coaster sport puts you on.
We were, yeah. Oh, there's no, I couldn't imagine not being a sports fan. I couldn't imagine not, because we were at the second party on the first there, and everyone was like huddled around the TV watching the Jays game, which was awesome. Like, I was glad everyone was so involved, because as a sports fan, like, you kind of like, you half almost want to like gatekeep it, but you half want everyone involved to see how sick it is. But it was tough just like sitting around, like what people who you could tell had like never watched a baseball game for sure in their life. Probably never really sat down to watch a sporting event in their life, like asking, being like, what? Why is that a strike? It's like, dude, I was like,
when is this over?
Yeah. That was a big one as well.
So boring.
But dude, it was tough also because we were watching it like on a TV feed, but the guy, his TV was like freezing. So we were like a touch behind. And so right before the double play, I felt my phone vibrate and I was like, I bet Kirk just went yard for a 3-shot. Jays are champions. And then like the play happens, I see the broken bat and I'm like, no. And then obviously they grounds out into the double, but dude, I like, unreal series. I feel I feel so bad for the Jays, man.
Yep.
Like they were. Here's the thing. I'm a huge believer. I will never say the better team lost a 7-game series. I think the better team can lose one-off games for sure. There's maybe even an argument the better team could lose a best of 3, although I'm not as much with that. I'll never say the better team lost a 7-game series.
You can't.
But I will say like the Jays and Dodgers were right here. Like it was so close, man.
And I'll say this, the Jays had their chances.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the Dodgers the Jays had their opportunities in Game 7, in other games throughout the series.
Yep.
Let us
that
know.
lodged ball in Game 6, man. That lodged ball in Game 6. That was it right there. That was the win. That was it. That was the championship right there. The fact that ball lodged there, the odds of that, when you go out there and you saw guys out there afterwards and they're showing you how just throwing the ball from so close, and the one guy's got like, you gotta like lift the wall and push the ball. The odds for that ball to land there, stick there, and stay there are so crazy.
I would love to see a sports science hit segment on that, with the ball getting there and just the velocity and you know how they break it down.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Dude, also shout out Rojas, like a guy who was, he was like 0 for 8 in the playoffs or something. He didn't have a hit since like September 19th. Obviously he had the tying run to go yard, right? Or he went yard for the tying run, I should say. He went
yard for the tying run in the top of the 9.
And then he makes that insane play back. And dude, credit to Will Smith for getting his foot back down on that. Like I was thinking, like, if that was me, I don't know if I would have been able to like have the dexterity to like think about getting my back foot back down.
Came up, man. That was such a heads up play.
Unreal. Just an unreal game.
I would say this too, you know, the negative of having the crushing loss, of course, but there's so many cool, positive stories that have really just shown themselves throughout this playoff run in the World Series. Like Ernie Clement, you know, our postseason record. Vladdy, we saw Vladdy grow up in front of our eyes.
Oh yeah.
How about some of the defensive plays this guy was making, man?
Dude, he was on fire. That guy with his glove is incredible.
He is a hell of a defender. Remember, I don't think it was last year, maybe the postseason before, when he got picked off at second. And everybody was questioning like if he's in it mentally. He grew up in front of our eyes.
Yeah,
He's a leader and he does it all.
Heart and soul, that team.
He is.
Like he wears his heart on his sleeve, like goes to bat. Yeah.
That little nasty little.
Oh, so
it wasn't a bat toss. He just slammed that thing down.
He watched it for a bit. Had a little pimp walk, got rid of that bat.
That stuff gives me juiced, man.
Aura farming is what he was doing. Straight on that
up.
one. Aura farming.
There it is.
Shout out Yamamoto. Like that, the series he pitched, bro, like
That's
is
insane what he
dude.
did.
The fact he got a 12-year, $325 million contract before he ever even played in the
That is
MLB.
insane.
And then you watch this and you're like, oh yeah, that's 325 mil.
He's no
Probably
spring chicken.
probably
either.
wasn't
No.
enough.
And dude's ready to pitch every day.
Yeah.
How much do you think he's taking home in Cali after agent fees and taxes on that whole contract?
What is it per year? What
So
would that be per season?
12 over 325
He's
divided by
probably taking
12.
home right around half,
27.
if not a little bit less.
Less even.
Less for,
But say
yeah.
if it's 30 mil, we'll say 30 mil.
But
He's
the amount
seeing
they got to
under
make on the side though, when it comes to endorsements,
Oh,
when especially
boy.
when you've
Yeah.
got like it's him, Sasaki, and Otani. What you
Yeah.
can do
Back in
in
the
terms
motherland.
of and shipping it back, it's
Back
incredible.
in
Those
the
guys are
motherland is where the money is.
those guys are making money.
Yeah,
Dude, that's why
where
you
the
see
money
like
is.
Shohei like defer his salary, do the 2-year for 10 years, then 68
Yeah,
mil
no,
for.
they're so loaded with.
Because I think another thing about that is like that 68 mil. Like I think his plan is to move back to Japan, and like he's not going to get like
Yeah, the
state
tax all of a sudden
on
is
it.
way different, right?
What's their money called?
Yen.
The yen, is it?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Or he
yen.
just has like a home in Texas or Nevada or Florida
We
and
already
make
know
your
he's
money
got some
there.
of this.
Yeah.
Hey, come on now. Show
And then all of a sudden, if you're making your money there, you get like half your taxes are gone, right?
Yeah.
So he will not be his home will not be California when he's all said and done. And it's time for the big dollars to come rolling
these
in.
guys have so many offshores.
Oh, dude.
Like look at what he's already been caught up in and how it just got swept under the rug.
Yeah, let's that's
like-
another thing. Like, let's not pretend this isn't like
No, he ain't straight and narrow.
he
God.
oh my good bro. He might be Jordan's 1A. He might be 1B when it
You
comes
saw
to
what's happening right now with the FBI and the NBA players. The FBI already went after the MLB and
Yep.
him.
Exactly.
And the ML, they took care of that. However, they took care of that. You know, they had
dude.
somebody that they could put the name on and like, hey, that's the one. And I'm sure the back channels are just stocked full of money changing hands or something going
You
on.
know it, Rick.
Dude, speak.
Translator.
Yeah, like let's.
I didn't know what's going on with my money.
Dude, my favorite tweet ever about that was someone was like, imagine the degenerate gambler Michael Jordan would be if he pretended he couldn't speak English. But along those lines of sports betting, I don't know if you guys saw this story. So there was UFC this past Saturday, and there was this dude, Isaac Delgarian, heavy favorite to win the fight. Heavy favorite, like minus, I think he was minus 250, minus 300. So I guess not that heavy, but he was a substantial favorite to win the fight. Throughout the day, the line gets bet down from like minus 250 or minus 280, whatever it is, to minus 120 for this guy. And this guy, like he is, I wouldn't even really call him a prospect. He's just like, I guess you could call him a prospect, but he's kind of like just a filler guy on the roster, like just a dude. A bunch of money comes out for this guy to lose in the first round. And he goes out there, shoots 2 like terrible takedowns, gives up his back, and gets submitted in the first round. And like everyone's kind of like the commentators were like, he fought like an amateur, like he probably doesn't belong at this level. Like, and if you watch the full fight back, like if you know like UFC and if you understand positions, like for a guy like Isaac Delgarian, who's like thought of as a grappler, like the takedowns he shot were not. Like it's not how you shoot takedowns.
Yeah.
The way he gives up his back is like, it'd be like how you or I gave up our back to someone. Like the way he just kind of turtles when he has his back taken and he gets in a body triangle. Like it's just nothing that a professional fighter would do.
Wasn't right. It was fishy.
Yeah, dude. And so not only was it fishy, like he got cut the next day. And now,
released him.
yeah. And here's the other thing. This is the other.
That payday he snuck them.
This is no doubt. This is the other thing that's crazy. So like the feds informed the FBI the feds informed the UFC like of this crazy line movement and these big bets that were coming on him to lose in the first round, which he ended up doing. And the UFC, and they told the UFC, they were like, hey, like you got to pull this fight. And the UFC didn't. So now like they're complicit in this like betting scandal potentially. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out from it because now it's kind of opening up a can of worms. Like there's this ref, Jason Herzog, who I think is a really good ref, but now like reports are coming out that he's like potentially been indicated in some fights, like hitting the overs or the unders, and people are going back and finding videos of fighters being like, I can't continue. And Jason Herzog being like, nope, fight's still going, just to like get that like the over in the fight to hit. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out, man.
Like UFC, you would think like just based off how Dana is and how they operate, the whole Vegas,
dude, here
shakiness could slide in, but
Yeah.
you think in combat sport it wouldn't. But man,
it's weird
money,
because
it's everywhere.
combat sports, like that's the one I think you got to have the most pride. Like you're going in there and you're fighting.
Like,
yeah, I know.
It's not.
You're going in there and you're fighting like it's mono y mono.
Yeah,
it's really primitive. Like it's, dude, like I always thought when I was like boxing, I was like, man, like
Kill or be killed.
yeah, like, and I was always thinking like, dude, if this guy knocks me out cold, and I'm just like, he could kill me. You know what I mean? Like if he really wanted to, he could just get on top of me and he could just beat me to death, choke me out, whatever. Yeah, exactly. So there's always kind of that mindset in fighting. And like, as such, you go about it in a way that's like, I can't let this happen. Like I can't let this happen. But the other side of the coin is like those dudes on the UFC roster on a contract like him, like he's making $20K to show, $20K to win. If you can get in bed with the mob and, you know, say, hey, I throw this fight, you cut me $1 million of that $8 million you're going to make, or like there's something to be said for that.
$50K that guy's making, like you just laid out, man, that's to do like 5 to 10 fights too. So you're in it for the long haul, man.
Yeah.
On these contracts.
Especially like you'll get like the rare guy, like a guy who comes in as a prospect who's able to like, you know, build his stardom and renegotiate his contract. Like, you know, Sean O'Malley was a guy who did that, you know, Paddy Pimblett, obviously Conor McGregor back in the day. But for the most part, these guys don't have that luxury. Like you're fighting out your contract or you're not fighting here. You know what I mean? So it's a sticky one. What?
CFL.
Yeah. Speaking of, actually, you know what? Let's do this one. Do you want to go over the team nominees? Because it's been a while since it's come out and we haven't had a chance to do that. Okay. Most outstanding player, Elks nominee was obviously Justin Rankin. No one's surprised about that. I think we all like that was,
had to be.
If you had 100 votes, you would have got all 100 of them. I guess my question to you guys would be, if you were looking at maybe your second and third places on the ballots, where would you have gone with this one?
Oh, I think second would go Cody.
Yeah.
I think you probably have to.
You
probably have to. Third gets a little bit tougher because I thought about KJ. Honestly, dude, if I was doing it, like
because might. Nobody else on the offense, I don't think. Right. Offense. So then you have to look who is your best of the defense.
Because Curly would maybe be an option, but he didn't really scream. Yeah, like 4 touchdowns.
800 yards throughout the season. That's not good enough.
So then you maybe kind of look to your most outstanding defensive player, like Cordell.
Or I'd say Joel.
Well, it's funny you bring him up because I want to, it's interesting. Like, I think Cody would be a decided second, and then the third's really a debate. Like Joel, I don't think is a bad option. We'll talk about him because I want to talk about the defensive player of the year. Like Cordell did get that nod, so he got it. I guess you could make an argument like what Javon did on special teams. Would he be an option?
Hunter?
Jake Julian. Yeah, dude, I think like Jake Julian's probably like the best player on this team for what he does at his position. The problem is he was only there for
has a special teams guy ever won that award?
Most outstanding player? I doubt it. No. A kicker's won NFL MVP. Mark Mosley won it, or Mosley in like 1983.
He had a whack load of points, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But even still, bro, it's
a bad look.
Hold up. I'm going to look to see if a special teams.
If we're sitting here looking at who's number 3 in line and we're going to a special teams guy.
Yeah. They didn't have a lot of depth, like receiving wise. They didn't have the receiver.
Remember Chad Owens? He won it.
Oh yeah.
He was a wide receiver though as well. Yeah.
He had
like
so many all-purpose yards that one year.
Yeah. He was crazy.
He had like 5,000 all-purpose yards.
He was, dude, in his day, he was crazy. I'm trying to look at. There's never been a special teamer who's won it. I'm trying to see if there's ever been a special teamer who was at least runner up. Doesn't look like
it'll be hard to find a runner up, right? Because if we're doing based on teams, I don't think they really do a runner up, do they?
Well, no, because for the CFL, you're talking about just teams?
Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at like the league as a whole. Yeah. Team. No, sorry.
And if we did this as a league as a whole and there was a special teams guy that came out as runner up, that's even worse than a team, no?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's because like the way it works is you get like the one nominee from the West, one from the East. So I'm trying to see if one of those guys, but it doesn't look like it.
I hope not.
I can't rack my brain. Not since I've been around.
Yeah, no, doesn't look like it. We can talk about those as well. But yeah, okay, so defensive player of the year. They went with Cordell. He was obviously really versatile. That was a big part of it. Half safety Sam. Second most tackles on the team was 78. He had the 2 sacks, 1 pick, and he had 11 PBUs. which is 4th in the CFL.
Nice.
Thinking back, like I don't remember Cordell having 11 PBUs.
Yeah,
like that's a pretty decent number, but
probably
good for
a
him.
lot where like he's going for the tackle and ends up
popping it
out.
Knocked the ball, knocked the ball out of his body.
Yeah. But natural follow-up question, how do you guys feel about Cordell getting that nod? Because
you know how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the play. That was the right move.
Mm-hmm.
And who did you think again?
For defensive player of the year, I'm cool with it being Cordell because no one really like.
But your opinion would have been.
Well, I listen. It's just because I'm so high on the guy. Like I wouldn't have hated JJ as the nominee.
Yep.
Dude, 52 tackles. Playing boundary corner. He had the 3 picks, 2 forced fumbles.
But he didn't become a starter till like week 3 or 4. So you lose out a couple extra games.
Couple games. And I just like how much Cordell stat padded.
Yeah.
Not for the stats specifically, more just how he stuffed the entire stat sheet and got in all the categories.
Cordell was one of your best defensive players almost every game too, right? Whether it be the best or the number 3, but he was always within the top 3 of your best players every game.
It's true.
I don't think anybody else can be said that for that.
Because I'm thinking like looking back to our like when we would give our team awards, every game, like our defensive player of the game, we were giving it to Joel a lot. And Joel did end up leading the team in tackles. Another guy who deserves a shout.
He didn't start until a couple games in either.
Exactly.
About 3-4 games in.
Yeah, he didn't.
And then he had a rough one or two.
Yeah, he did.
No one on learning. That's what's going to happen though. You're going to learn as you go.
No one on the defensive line. Like you look at like these guys who got like Jake Ceresna, 1 sack, 16 tackles. Jared Brinkman, who he actually I thought was the best of those guys. 23 tackles, 2 sacks. Brandon Barlow, 2 sacks, 35 tackles. Robbie Smith.
Barlow had 35 tackles.
Yep, he did. Robbie Smith, man,
solid.
Robbie Smith, 16 tackles, no sacks.
How many games though? Because him and Jake were hurt for a good chunk, right?
Robbie was hurt early.
How many
Probably more than half the season.
He was hurt early and often.
And then when he came back, was he 100? Probably not.
He got 6 gamed early, I remember.
Let me see how many games Robbie played here. If you guys had to guess.
I would say no more than half. Maybe.
Under 12 for sure.
Yeah, maybe 9 or 10.
You guys are correct, but it was 10.
10.
Yep.
And then,
but I'll say, man, 100%? When you're the highest paid non-quarterback, highest paid defensive player in the CFL, I want more than 1.6 tackles a game, no sacks.
For the first 6 weeks, though, we really didn't have a defensive stat, right? Because I think for the first little bit, Jake was the only one with a pick. Yes. Jake was the only one with a pick for probably 4 or 5 weeks, I think. Then around weeks, whenever like Cody came in, the defense started to put up actual stats for a minute.
But even still, like my point being is no one on this team, like no one on this, the two leaders of this team in sacks were Noah Taylor and Jonathan Kongbo, 2 backup defensive linemen who each had 4 sacks. And like I said, those big money guys, and granted, not playing's a part of it, but Barlow had 2 sacks, Brinkman had 2 sacks, Resna had 1, Robbie Smith had 0. Those 4 combined, who you put like that's $1 million defensive line, they had 5 sacks combined. Noah Taylor or Jonathan Kongbo, pick your poison, 2 backup defensive linemen had 4 sacks each.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Telling.
So listen, the other thing I wanted to say is back to the who could have been the defensive player of the year nominee, Kenny Logan. He was a guy who could have got a shout.
That was another one. That's 40, who I remember you originally
47 tackles, 3 sacks, 3rd most on the team, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. Like that's production.
And that was taken out of the starting lineup for a couple of games later in the season too, right? There were times when we're like, hey, he should be starting, and they took him out for whatever, somebody else coming back from an injury.
There was one game, I forget who they were playing, but he wasn't like that. I think it was Royce was playing safety, Cordell was half, Chalin was playing the Sam. And I remember thinking like, man, we're really taking Kenny Logan out of the lineup. Like I thought he had been one of the best defensive players to that point. So, is what it is, I guess. But okay, if you guys got to stamp someone, are you guys are going with Cordell as your DP?
Yep. Certainly.
Okay. I'm cool with that. I like Cordell. He's dope to talk to. He's also built like a pit bull, man. Like short, stocky, strong, like just full of aggression. Dog. Okay, most outstanding offensive lineman. We went back a little bit with this one. You were happy with David Beard, who was the nominee. Yeah. I said, listen, not an embarrassment of riches at that offensive line position this year. It was really, I think we all agree. Carter O'Donnell was the best offensive lineman.
Had he have been here all year.
Been here, yeah.
Absolutely.
But I was like, I would have maybe gone Corte over Beardo.
Do tell.
Well, listen, again, like I don't think it was an embarrassment of riches. I just thought I thought David Beard was a little bit. David Beard might have had more high moments of success, but it's not like David Beard was good for like 2 pancakes a game. I just felt with Mark Corte, and they all got beat at points, but I thought with him, the mistakes were a little fewer and farther between than David Beard. And I could be wrong. Like maybe I'm misremembering things. Like maybe if I go back and watch the tape of all 18 games, it'll show that that's not the case. But like throughout the season, watching the games, it felt like Mark Corte, like David Beard, like I said, he might have had more moments of high impact, but I just felt Mark Corte was a little bit more consistent, was a little bit more steady.
And my challenge to that would be, I think Mark Corte started the season as the center and ended up having to go to guard, which center is more challenging.
He started as guard, and then Beard got hurt, and then he went to center.
Is that what it was?
They just swapped because the center got hurt.
Okay. I thought Cordy started there and Beardo started at guard, and they ended up switching. Good memory,
You could be right. I'll check the depth.
It's all good, regardless.
That's what it was the center got injured, and he swapped over to the guard, and the guard went to center. So, whatever name it was, that I don't remember, but I remember that happening.
So I just think that, Beardo had that one terrible play against Toronto where he got beat on that delay. And that was a real focused point on the offensive lineman, which you normally don't get. And it ended up being a turnover that cost the game. But I think that just watching Corte all season, he's a little light in the butt, man. And he's had a really good run. And I'm not saying this is the end, but he's a center. He's not a guard. A center, you can get away with being light like that. A guard, you got to have a little more dog. You got to be heavier.
That's true.
And I saw him get abused way too many times. I noticed, especially in short yardage, teams would key on him and try and blow him up because he just didn't have the mass behind him. He's a really good athletic guy. And we saw that one clip of a screen where Beard and Corte are both running down, making blocks on DBs because that's one of their strong sets is how athletic both those guys are. But I think that Mark would be better suited playing center because at guard, he's just a little too light. He's under 300 pounds.
He is. He's 6'1", 290. That's pretty small for a guard. For reference, Beardo's 6'5", like
probably
320. 320. Yeah, 6'5", 320. He is small for a guard. He is undersized. And you could tell he had to be athletic playing that guard position because he couldn't really play big.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I'm not going to fight you on it too hard because I don't think it's not like it was prime Stanley Bryant there.
The end
prime
point
Gene
is,
Mikowski.
Deck, if Carter O'Donnell is here all year, he is by far their best offensive lineman.
And that's a whole nother point. Like the fact, he came in, played 5 or 6 games, and it wasn't even really a question who the best offensive lineman was, right? Like that's
elevated that.
That's probably an issue in and of itself, right? So I'm really curious to see what that line looks like next year because I got to think. All respect, Brett Krueger.
They're gone. They're only 2 free agents out of the O-line. So they're out, man. I don't even think they'll talk contract unless it's going to be bare bones come back as a backup.
I had their free agent list the other day.
For the O-line, it was just those 2, I believe.
The receivers, by the way, we'll have to talk about this at some point. I don't know if we'll get to it today because I know we got to get out of here at 10:40. But the receiver, they are the only 2. You're right. The receivers, dude, everyone is a free agent, basically. Yeah. Who would you have gone with, Rick, if you had to stamp one of the offensive linemen?
Honestly, I don't think we can argue with who they got there. I think the actual one was Carter, but obviously was not here long enough. But when we look back at Elks Central every week, who was on the hot seat almost all the time was the offensive line.
You made sure.
I think it's really tough to pick somebody off of there. That was probably the unit that struggled the most consistently throughout the season. And it is what it is. At one point or time, I think all 5 guys or one of the 5, they always were, they had a rough game. Maybe they bounced back the next game, but it always came back to a bad game. It was probably our weakest link. And it's tough to find who was the best of that. So if they want to go with Beard, I'm not really going to argue too loud.
The offensive line was really frustrating because there were games where they would do their job really well and it would be reflected in Justin Rankin's, box score.
Some odd yards.
Exactly. But then there were other games that it's Justin Rankin finishes the game with 30 yards on 11 carries. And it's kind of man, for a player of Justin Rankin's caliber, it's pretty tough to finish with that stat line. Like you have to, like the offensive line has to be pretty underachieving for that to be the case.
We saw.
Yeah.
You're letting someone
There
get
were
through to the
games.
backfield at that point, right? Because
Yeah,
if he's hitting that first hole, he's probably off and running. He's going to get 5, 6, whatever. But if he's getting 1 to 2, it's because someone's getting into the backfield, and that is strictly on the offensive line.
Too many games this year where they didn't own the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
And that's one of the things. And I thought the team went in there this offseason and said, hey, we need to get to the dirty areas. And they picked up the defensive line, and I thought we had an offensive line. Yep. They swung in the area where I want them to swing. Yep. So I guarantee you, I can almost guarantee you they're going to do it again this year.
Ed loves linemen.
Exactly. So I am confident going forward that they will be better, but they did actively look at it last year. It just didn't work out. When you look at the defensive line, how many of those guys got hurt and how many games were they hurt? That's a little bit of bad luck, but the offensive line was, they need some help.
That's the one thing about the general manager, Ed Hervey, that I really love, maybe because I was a D tackle that he paid, but he loves linemen, and he'll take care of his linemen. If you're a good player, he'll pay you now.
You have to, man.
He'll take those swings in paying guys, free agents, and he'll say things like linebackers are replaceable and receivers, they're a dime a dozen. He'll say that, having been a receiver, because he knows you can go down south and you can find millions of linebackers, running backs, and receivers, millions of them. What is hard to do is find good quality talent that can play in the trenches up here in the CFL, because that yard off makes a difference. Not everybody can just come and ball out. It's a different ball game up here in the trenches.
100%. Special teams, MOP, Javon Leake. I don't think anyone's going to give too much argument there. I mean, again, like Jake Julian could have been if he was here for the full year, but Javon Leake also led the CFL in all-purpose yards, or at the time the nominees were released, was leading the CFL in all-purpose yards. Second best punt return average at 13.3. The 2 punt return touchdowns, both against the Red Blacks. Funny enough, he was like, that was another. When you look at the games Jake Julian played, that was another pretty obvious selection.
Definitely. That one punt from a couple weeks back. What a punt.
Oh, man.
Put it out there at the one.
Best play of the game. That was the best play of the game. Yeah, most outstanding Canadian. This one was Joel DeBlanco. How do we feel about it?
I feel a couple of ways. I feel I respect the award. It's cool.
I do.
Oh, for sure. Jake or Joel is the winner of the award for this team. But
not Canadian.
That's kind of where I land.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's cool. He's considered Canadian. I'm not here to get into it.
So he's not born in Canada.
His grandparents are born in Edmonton. So he's never stepped a foot in Canada
until he came here.
He found out that his grandparents were born here and he could go into the CFL draft.
Yeah.
So he
was born in Washington, played football at Cincinnati.
Like he's never stepped a foot in Canada, maybe to visit his grandparents. I can't say that. But never did anything of
no school, no living, no nothing like that.
You know, I'm a kid from Winnipeg, like grinded out north of Winnipeg, fought every level, like a true Canadian.
Yep.
And it's just it hits a little different, I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It feels a little bit, you feel shorted. You feel like slighted.
A little bit.
That's why, like, I'm
not to be here bitching and moaning. Like, but I like Joel. Joel's a good dude, but
that's a fair comment though.
It's kind of, man, you did nothing in Canada. Your grandparents or your mom's uncle was born in Canada, so you can be considered a Canadian. It's a weird loophole. What it is.
It's a weird loophole too, because it, like, for a league that really prides themselves on their, on being a Canadian league, and obviously the ratio roster and and on the field, it's weird for them to be like, hey, it's cool, man, you can be Canadian. You know what I mean? Like, what? Because it's just can of worms for sure. Like,
it is.
Dude's wife is Canadian or something.
Was Joel considered Canadian at Cincy? Like when he was going down there in the recruiting process?
I promise you he wasn't.
No, man.
I promise you he wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, this case is unique with Joel because it is Edmonton. His family was from here. They were season seat holders, loved the team. There's history there. So it's kind of cool. But the whole loophole in itself is a little.
So who do you give the award to if you're removing him? You're saying, hey, you're not eligible. Who now is the new one?
Curly probably.
My guy, I would have gone with
Token.
Terrell Ford.
Oh yeah, good point.
Tyrell, like Terrell, because obviously, like field corner stats aren't going to jump off the page at you. Like, but you can't use box scores when you're
he had a solid
when you're critique. Yeah, he did.
Solid.
And he's coming back, I think, at the same price tag. Right. And
good.
Deservedly so. Like it's not cheap. It might have been a bit of a cut, a bit of a discount, but he would eliminate a side of the field. He had his little pet move that was an undercut on every ball thrown out there, and it would be great. He had the defensive touchdown, which is tough. Like, it's tough to score a touchdown as a defensive player. I know it was just a one. He didn't have the 7 picks like he had last year in Winnipeg.
But they don't throw to him.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, he's a guy who
he had how many?
He had 1 this year, I think. Let me.
6?
Yeah, I think that was it. Let me check it. But my thing is just, he's a guy who, like, again, numbers not going to jump off the page at all. You're not really going to find that with the best corners in the league. And he was a guy who was just out there, like, locking down a side of the field. He probably would have been he had 2. Sorry, he had 2 and the 1 touchdown. And 56 tackles. That's way more than I thought it was. Like, that's still a lot for a DB. But yeah, like they don't have the numbers here. Like, I don't know what his completion percentage was. I'm sure it was probably pretty low because that's kind of what he does. So yeah, he would have been mine. But shout out Joel, led the team in tackles. It's just, and did it not starting every game. Mm-hmm. But it's also like Joel was, and I say this with all respects, I really like Joel's game. And I've said this so many times about Joel. Like, Joel loves to get dirty and he loves to tackle. Like, like there's some players, mostly DBs, who don't like to tackle. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't want to be in there. Joel wants to tackle on every play. I respect that. But it's just, it does also a little bit come back to that. Like, okay, you're born in Washington, lived your whole life in Washington, played NCAA ball at Cincinnati, and now you're a Canadian. Like, so. Most outstanding rookie, Jalen Garnes. How do we feel about this one?
Yeah, because we got into this earlier in the year. JJ Ross played 1 game last year, which would take him out of
Yes, he played week 12 against Montreal, which was crazy. I don't remember him playing that game at all. He didn't have anything in the box score. I don't know if he came in on special teams. I don't know. I didn't go back and watch the game. Like, I don't know if he was in like he was actually playing corner, but yeah, he played that 1 game, I guess. So he was not eligible for.
And that takes you away from rookie status. Like, I know, like in hockey, you got to play a certain amount of games. I don't really know. I'm trying to think about NFL right now. I don't really know.
For certain things, like for pay and stuff, like during training camp, no. You actually have to play a certain amount of games.
Yep. Yeah. Because on the roster, he was officially listed as a rookie.
Yeah.
But for the CFL to be
this award,
yes, you can have never played a professional regular season or postseason game in the CFL or NFL.
So that's why DeBlanco's not there, right? Because he got a taste of.
He played last year. He was mostly a special teams guy, but he was playing last year. Yeah. So the guys who were eligible for, I'll run through them really quickly. The guys who were eligible for the Elks this year: Cole Snyder, Jarrell Cummings, Kenny Logan, Jalen Garnes, Brock Mogensen, Alex Reich, Tyreek Johnson, Jackson Morkin, offensive lineman, Elijah Alston, Mark Evans II, Greg Island, OJ Hilaire, Tamari Fox, Silas Hubert. The only guys who I think could have really been in that conversation: Kenny, Jalen, Brock, and OJ. But for me, like, shout out Jalen. I think he popped a little bit late. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, compared to the rest of the names, like Brock also did great when he came in. I know Coach Killam really likes him. Shout out Jalen. I'm cool with
a job next year. At least he did. Fight in camp.
Yep.
Brock came in and got Niles Morgan cut.
Yep.
That's what happened.
Yep. Dude, you know what's even crazier to think about? I don't think Joel came in and got Nick cut. I think Nick will be on this team, but it's looking a lot more. He's fighting for
a job. Nothing is given at that linebacker position because
and not with Ed. No, not with Ed.
No. And Brock and Joel, not with the play of them because those guys bald, man.
But you want that, don't you? Because now you can cycle them in and out, and they've always got fresh legs. I mean, you spoke about that about you guys back in 2015, 2014. Man. You had so many defensive linemen. You guys were always cycling in. You're always
one off.
Exactly.
2 on, 1 off. 2 series on, 1 off.
Dude, if I'm like Brock or Nick, I might lose 20 pounds, do a lot of speed training, just be like, hey, I can play with Sam. You know what I mean?
I'd like Brock.
I think he'd be the better Sam.
Boy, I could see receivers, man, just torching them.
Oh my goodness, could you imagine
the waggle?
Yeah, could you imagine him
catching him
going back? Oh,
trying to waggle down as he's the third receiver.
Could you imagine Nick Dembski running like a sluggo?
Oh,
it'd be over. Yeah.
See ya.
So where do you guys come out? Because I like Jalen. I didn't know JJ wasn't eligible. I tweeted who I wanted to be nominated. I wanted it to be JJ. I'm cool with it being Chalen as well. 54 tackles, third on the team.
I like Kenny though, because Kenny.
Yeah,
I like Kenny.
I think I would have thrown Kenny in there.
Yeah, I respect that because I loved Kenny's game, man. I thought Kenny was great. And then is that all of them? Did I go over all? Yeah, that's all of them. We went over all of them. Do you guys want to go over do you guys want to do here? Do we want to do award predictions or do we want to go over the Elks free agent list for the last like 15 minutes here?
Let's do the free agent list.
Okay, let's do the free agent list. So, we'll just go down.
We got a little bit of time still for the awards.
Yeah, we'll go through. And this did come out a couple weeks ago, so there are going to be some names that I might just say that have gotten contracts. I'm sure we'll correct ourselves if that's the case. Quarterback, Cody. We've talked about him a lot, man.
You got to keep him.
You need him back.
Got to keep him.
Yep. Keep him.
You need competition though. You need him back.
Yep.
Yeah, he's definitely not coming back with the I'm going to be the starter for the next couple of years.
Number one. Yeah. No. You need to have competition. You pay him a little bit of a salary bump. You don't pay him and give him $400K. Like
he's going to want $400K.
No one else in the league
is going to want.
Nobody else in the league is going to pay that. So you don't have to be worried about having to give it to him.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. I do think Cody is like, he honestly would, if he doesn't get the pay raise he wants, he just retires. I could see that. He's a big family guy. His family's not here.
He does have his head on straight, and he's one of the few that realizes that there's life outside of football.
Yep.
And that's a good thing.
How old
give
is
him
he?
a lot of credit. He's going to be 34 next season, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're going to play one or two more. You only get to play football for so long. If you have an opportunity at 34, 35,
good point too.
you're going to give it one more go. I don't think he leaves yet. Especially when you're that close.
He's the best insurance policy in the CFL, and you need him.
Yep.
So regardless, you bring him back. Regardless.
None at the running back position. Fullback, Tanner Green. We didn't, say his name a whole lot this season. Might actually be the first time we're saying it. They don't really run a fullback laden offense. Like he doesn't really.
No, he's good on teams. And, he's a leader in that locker room.
Yeah,
I like Tanner.
I like Tanner.
He's one of those guys that you need that does all the small things.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to bring him
Just
back.
finished his 7th year, I believe.
Is that what it is? Hey, I was just looking it up. Yeah, he's a little older, 30, but he is 32. He is one of the he is a leader. Like you can tell, like you can see him like being involved because he older guy. He obviously like doesn't play a glamour position, but he knows how to rile the boys up. So, this is where it gets. A lot of names here. Receiver, Stephen Dunbar, who's an American. This is also worth noting. American. Curley, who's a national. Can, who's a national. Tyson Middlemost, who's a national. And Arkell Smith, who's an American. I mean, it's funny. Ed doesn't really love receivers either, despite being one and being a great one. You know what I mean? But those 5 names I listed, like, where do we come out on these ones?
You want Curley back just because he's Canadian, correct?
Yeah, you do.
It helps for the ratio.
Absolutely. But cheap.
Yeah.
I want him back cheap.
Yeah. I don't think he can sit there and ask for that much. It's not like he had a massive season in the last year, so it's.
No. I like Stephen Dunbar.
What does that meeting look like after the season? Like when Curley goes and meets with Ed. Like what is that?
And Ed's cutthroat, man. He'll tell you like, gotta be better. Maybe a lot of coaches will be like, yeah, we want you back and this and that. Ed will be like, we want you back, but you're not coming back for what you just played for. Yeah. Like he'll tell it to your face like that. He's pretty cutthroat, man. Like you heard how he talks. There are no superstars.
As a player, do you not appreciate that?
You do. Now I do. As I'm retired and older, when you're in it, you don't appreciate it as much.
You want a little bit of the niceness side to it?
Yeah, you want. Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me ask.
You want to be told that you suck.
Yeah.
Right? But Ed will tell you you suck.
What does this conversation look like when it's like a guy like Niles, who's supposed to be one of the stars of the defense, one of the staples, but it didn't work out and he's probably going to get cut. What does the conversation look like versus him versus a guy who's like bona fide third stringer, but plays hard and loves the guys and goes to bat? Like, does Ed cushion that blow a little bit? Like, listen, man, we appreciate you, but it's just not going to work
maybe
out.
A little, Deck. Yeah, maybe a little. And of course, it's human nature to, favor towards some guys as opposed to others. So you treat them differently. Absolutely. But just as a whole, Ed is pretty cutthroat, man.
Yep.
And he's not shy to skirt around the elephant in the room. He'll directly go right after it. And I've done business with him and I respect the hell out of Ed.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, Rick, you want it maybe a little softer in the moment, but now I look back, having been out of the game, you do appreciate that. And you just appreciate the direct business. That's all it is. It ain't personal.
So when we look at these list of 5 names, like Steven, Curly, Keon, Tyson, Arkell, like what are we doing here? Tyson, I like because he's a national, but I just had his numbers in front of me here. He had 5 catches for 34 yards, even though you're Canadian. He had less receiving yards than Tanner
two
Green.
Names there
he is, yeah.
Stick out. And there's Dunbar and it's Curly.
Yeah, that's it.
If you're
what about Keon? What about Keon?
Price tag, we'll bring you both back. But I guarantee you, Ed's got probably 10, 12, 15 names of receivers already. Like he's not looking for him right now. He's already got a list and he'll add to it. And they're all coming for camp. He already knows what he's bringing in.
So you guys are that quick to move on from Keon and Arkell Smith?
Yeah, I'm not overly high on Keon, to be honest.
He led the team in receiving yards and touchdowns.
I understand that, but
what about the negatives?
The negatives, and he's just, to me, not a game breaker, man. I don't know.
But I don't know if any of these receivers are. I don't think any of these receivers are game breakers.
They're not.
I think Dunbar was having a way better season, but then he got hurt for whatever 6 or 7.
He was catching everything early on. And then Arkell Smith, no, because you got Victor, you got Hilaire. Like those are 2 Americans there's Arkell Smith right there. Cancel him out. And I like Arkell, and I feel for Arkell because he got his face taken off like 5 times this season.
Dude, in 10 games, Stephen Dunbar Jr., like he had 500 yards and 2 touchdowns. 63.
You're like 3rd or 4th receiver.
But he became the number one.
Because again, they don't have any dogs. They didn't have the horses, man.
Stephen Dunbar, he actually has the funniest career. 2022 in Hamilton, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. 2023 in Edmonton, 536 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2024 in Hamilton, 1,159 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2025 in Edmonton, 511 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Was he wide number 1 out in Hamilton both years, and then you get like number 3, 4 here, or 2, 3?
No, it would have been. I mean, Kenny out there.
No, Kenny was there. This is Kenny's first year there.
Oh yeah, sorry. You're absolutely right. Let's actually go back and look.
So I think he was pretty high on the list when he went back there. He would have
been up there for sure.
He would have been.
And that first season was like when he went off. Yeah. And then we brought him here. Yeah. Obviously our offense wasn't
the same.
That's also the Bo Levi bump out there playing with him. Like that's going to help. Season. But you guys are that much more committed to bringing back Steven as an American over Keon as a national.
I think he's a good veteran. And I don't think
I am.
He's a little more secure. Like at the end of the day, when it comes to Keon, the first thing I think about are some of the drops.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about Ed being a cutthroat guy who says, I can replace wides all the time, that's going to be a guy you replace then. Yep. You can't have that going forward. You need guys who are going to hold on to that ball, make that play. That lost us games.
That's real.
And that's going to be overall thinking when it comes to these guys.
It's real, Rick.
That's the overall stink on them.
I don't know, man. Like a guy who had 2 touchdowns in 10 games and averaged 50 yards receiving is like the number 1 receiver.
I didn't say number 1. So you bring him back.
Yeah, and because he's a national too, right? Is he Canadian?
No, Steven's American.
But we're not talking about Steven coming back as
Dunbar's coming back as your 3, 4. It's a solid number 3, 4.
I like Steven. If we're going just receiver for receiver, I like Steven over Keon.
Okay. Because you're probably going to get him at a cheaper price too, right? He's on the back end of half of his career. It's going to be a lower number than these guys coming up wanting more.
I get
What about, let me pitch you this. Let me pitch you guys this to make Keon's case. You want Cody back as your number 1.
That was going to be my other point. I'm glad you said
Cody loves Keon.
I'm glad you said
he loves Keon. Got a lot of chemistry there.
Yeah, they do have the chemistry. So what if Cody's not there? Because Keon only has the chemistry with Cody.
It's true. Then if Cody's not there, Keon is probably.
Yeah.
I bet Cody has a pretty good idea whether he's back or not. I'm guessing Ed and the Elks have a pretty good idea whether he's back or not.
Well, Ed, Kevin Carey's had him on Sports 1440 last Thursday.
Shout out.
And he said that he's going to give Cody until I believe the end of November. So pretty much this month, and then they're going to reconvene and figure out what's going on. Cody wanted to go home, talk afterwards,
and said, "Okay, take your time. I'll give you a month. Here's a calendar month, and we'll talk it then."
Yeah, revisit it in December. Cody has notably said out there in the media he wants to go home, talk to his wife, and figure things out. And Ed said specifically, we'll circle back at the end of November, early December.
Okay. I know we got to get out of here in about 3 or 4 minutes or whatever it is. So let's just finish off with the offense today. It's not going to be much of a conversation. Then on Friday's show,
good timing.
On Friday's show, we can go to the defense, offensive line, 2 nationals. Shout out. Love to have them. You love to be able to plug your Canadians in at the line. Cause that's what Saskatchewan's done for pretty much ever. Yep. But yeah, Brett Boyko, Gregor McKellar. unfortunately, it's probably
See ya.
yeah, it's probably not going to work out.
You can certainly upgrade over those two.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty quick combo. Yeah. Pretty quick conversation. Okay, yeah, shit. We will. So I think we're gonna start for anyone listening. I think the plan is obviously Elks Central was a game recap. No games to recap right now for the Elks. We will keep talking about the CFL playoffs as a whole until the end of the Grey Cup here. But I think the plan is to kind of move to a interview format for a Friday show, which we're gonna keep going with. Sorry, I had to cough. That's going to be the Elks Central show, I guess, if you will. But on that show, we'll do the defense because there's a lot to talk about on the defense. A lot of defensive linemen, linebackers are interesting. Couple DBs I want to talk about. One guy who had his job and then lost it to injury. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, anything you guys want to wrap this one up with before we get out of here?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm just let's keep rolling.
Yeah, it'll be good, man.
I'm fighting battles for you here, Kaon. These two don't love you like that. I'm fighting battles for you. All right, dope. Okay, well, in that case, I guess we can send it on off. Talk to you on Friday, and it's been a good one.